Hi all, my name is Fathima Shafna. Here, today in this presentation, we are covering the tools that are used for classroom assessment and issues. In this presentation, we include the topic such as what is meant by assessment and the tools used for classroom assessment. The major issues in the classroom assessment. Then, what is meant by assessment? Assessment is a systematic process of documenting and using empirical data on the knowledge, skill, attitude, and beliefs to refine programs and improve students' learning. Or is the process of gathering information about what a student know, can do, and is learned to do. Assessment helps the teachers to provide positive and supportive feedback to the students. Also, it helps the teachers to know the level of the student and prepare according to that. Assessment is a continuous process until the desired result from the students. Now, let's go through through some of the assessment tools that require to the teachers. Teachers need to know how will the students are assimilating lesson so as not to leave anyone behind. You have to access each student at the end of the quarter, term, and semester, and bestow a final grade that reflects both their understanding and their level of efforts. Some of assessment tools used by the teachers are observation, self-reporting, anecdotal records, checklist, rating scales, rubrics, and testing. What is meant by observation? Observation literally means looking outside oneself. Observational assessment involves obtaining evaluative information through direct observation. When an examiner observes someone, they record it for further interpretation. In an educational context, it helps the teachers to record and report students' demonstration of learning. Also, by observing students, the teacher can find out the students who need special educational needs. Observational assessment can be characterized as two types that are incidental and planned observations. Incidental observation occurs during the ongoing activities of teaching and learning and the interaction between the teacher and the students. An unplanned opportunity emerges in the context of classroom activities where the teacher observes some aspects of individual students' learning. Planned observation involves deliberative planning of an opportunity for the teacher to observe specific planning outcomes. This planning opportunity may occur in the context of regular classroom activities or may occur through setting assessment tasks such as practicing or performing activities. The next one is self-recording. Self-reporting. A self-report is any method which involve asking a participant about their feelings, attitudes, beliefs, and so on. For example, questionnaires and interviews. A questionnaire are the type of self-report method which consists of a set of questions, usually in a highly structured written form. Questionnaires can contain both open questions and closed questions, and participants record their own answers. And interviews are the type of spoken questionnaires where the interviewer records the responses. Interviews can be structured one whereby there is a predetermined set of questions, or it may unstructured whereby no questions are decided in advance. The main strength of self-report methods is that they are following participants to to describe their own experiences rather than interfering uh, this from observing participants. The next one is anecdotal records. Anecdotal Anecdotal records are the tracking events and observation throughout the school days. They are written records. Is a detailed descriptive narrative records after a specific behavior or interaction occurs. Anecdotal records inform teachers as they plan learning experiences, provide information to families, and gives insight into identifying possible developmental delays. These records are used to access students' achievement, evaluate work product, or to ensure the programs toward professional development. Anecdotal records are also the records of how people behave in a particular situation or how they handle a particular situation. Now, some of the features of anecdotal records are: it is an accurate descriptive description of an event. It describes personal development or social interaction of a child. It is a factual report with enough details. It is a subjective evidence of behavior and therefore does not provide feedback for scholastic areas. Next one is checklist. Checklists are the assessment tools that set out specific criteria which educators and students may use to gauge skills development or progress. Checklists set out skills, attitudes, strategies, and behavior for evaluation and offer ways to systematically organize information about a student or a group of students. It helps to document the development of the skills, strategies, attitudes, and behaviors that are necessary for effective learning and help to identify the students' learning needs by summarizing learning to date. By using checklists, the students can measure their own behavior. Next one is rating scales. A rating scale allows the teachers to indicate the degree of behavior, skill, and strategies displayed by the learner. Teachers can use rating scales to record their own observation, and students can use these tools for self-assessment. In some cases, we can use use the description word such as always, usually, sometimes, and never. Also, the words such as fair, good, very good, excellent, outstanding, etc. Next one is rubrics. In educational terminology, rubrics means scoring gauge used for evaluating the quality of students' constructed responses. They consist of fixed measurement scale and detailed description of characteristics for each level of performance. This description focused on the quality of the product or performance, not the quantity. It only focused on the quality of the product, not the quantity. It provides the basis for self-evaluation, reflection, and peer review. When students use rubrics regularly to judge their own works and begin to accept more responsibility for the end product. Next one is test. A test is an important tool used to measure the performance, knowledge, skill of a learner on a particular subject. It may oral, written, or mechanical or any other variations. According to Abel and Frisbee, a test is a set of questions, each of which has correct answers that each of which has correct answers that examine usually by orally or writing. There are different types of test: achievement test, standardized test, and teacher made test. Achievement test is to document the development of the skills, strategies, attitudes, and behaviors that are necessary for effective learning, and to identify the students' learning needs by summarizing learning to date. Standardized test is referred to the test that follows the same pattern and is uniformly given to each student. The main aim of the standardized test is to ensure the uniformity at every level, thus making the test preparation easy. A standard test allow easy comparison of each students and their achievements in school. The next one is teacher-made test. Teacher-made tests are normally prepared and administered for testing classroom achievement of student, evaluating the method of teaching adopted by the teacher and their curricular programs of the school. The teacher-made test is one of the most valuable instrument in the hands of teacher to solve his purpose. Teacher-made test may be oral or written test. Now, the major issues in the classroom assessment. As we know, the student's assessment is a critical aspect of teaching and learning process. It enables the teachers to measure the effectiveness of their process. The major issues in classroom assessment are commercialization of assessment, poor test quality, domain dependency, measurement issues, and system issues. What is mean by commercialization? Commercialization is the process of bringing new products or services to the market. In the case of education, the teachers were prepared notes, tools for assessment, prepared to implement it in the classroom, etc. in the beginning. But now, as the part of commercialization, the educators are not taking much effort on preparing the materials for teaching. There are many ready-made materials are available in the markets like books, guides, and these materials are also available in the educational websites. The teachers were not ready to check the genuinity of the material, and so it led to the negative results. It's better to prepare one's own assessment strategies. The next one is poor test quality. The test the test may not show the sufficient evidence of validity and reliability. Many students used for educational assessment are not standardized or prepared not by undergoing the systematic test development procedures and applying psychometric principles. Such test does not possess the good quality and fail to perform their functions and purposes. One of the reasons for the poor quality of test are the construction of good quality test require expertise and also is a time consuming process and has to undergo a series of sequential procedures. Next one is domain dependency. Assessment required interaction of general principles, strategies, and techniques which reasonably deep cognitive domain understanding. That deep cognitive domain understanding includes the processes, strategies, and knowledge important for proficiency in a domain, the habit of mind that characterizes the community of practice in that domain, and the features of tasks that en- en- that engage those elements. It also includes those specialized aspects of domain knowledge central to helping students learning. A teacher who has weak cognitive domain understanding is less likely to know what question to ask to the students and what to look for their in performance, what inference to make for that performance about students knowledge, and what action to make just interaction instruction. The intellectual tools and instrumentation given to teachers may differ significantly from one domain to the next because they ought to be specially turned for the domain question. The next one is measurement. Measurement issues. Educational measurement involve four activities: designing opportunities to gather evidences, collecting evidences, interpreting it, and fourth one is acting on interpretation. Assessment is not simply the elicitation of evidence but also includes making inference from that evidence. Assessment is an inferential process because others cannot know with certainty what understanding exists inside a student's head. They can only make hypotheses based on what observed from such things as classroom participation, uh, classroom works, homeworks, and the test performance. The measurement issues lies in the interpretation of evidences for learner performance and achievement. The next one is measure system issues. We are the following the oldest version, so the common reality in the educational system is that summative tests are relatively short and predominantly taking the multiple choice question or short answer format. So there is a chance to miss the important topics. Now we can discuss what are, the model question in this area. What is mean by the assessment? Which are the tools that are used for assessment? Third one, what is mean by self-reporting? And what is the difference between observation and self-reporting? Describe any three issues in classroom assessment. Thank you. Thank you for watching me. Thank you for